Hey guys, it's Tina, and I'm going to talk about my September wrap-up. First, I'm going to start with the books that I'm currently reading, then I'm going to move on to the ebooks that I've read, and then I'll move on to the physical books. So what I'm currently reading is The Way of Kings. I am 158 pages into it. My thoughts on it so far is that it was a very strong, action-packed start. It started with a huge battle scene, a lot happening, a lot of emotion, a lot of intense, exciting stuff. But then it kind of switched to not so exciting, but very emotional. I'm not sure how this switch fully happened. And that's following Kaladin. Then we're following another character, Shallan. I am not exactly sure about this point of view yet. I am not attached to this character yet. I don't know where this part is going yet. This part is still a complete mystery to me so far in this book. Kaladin's storyline is extremely intriguing, and it is interesting to be in his head. It is interesting to see the world how he's seeing it right now with everything he's going through. But Shallan's character, it's not my favorite. That is where I am on this book. Then the two ebooks I finished was one, A Sting of Thorns. That was a novella by a self-pub author. That is the second book in series. I really enjoyed that book. I'm excited for the third novella to come out. Sting of Thorns is about a kingdom in another realm stealing humans to be their slaves. And a group of humans are trying to free the humans that are being stolen. And this prince of the kingdom that his kingdom are stealing the humans, and the human spy who she is trying to free her fellow humans from the kingdom meet and start to have feelings for each other. If you are interested in a paranormal romance, novellas, slow burn, I would say it was slow burn romance with a side of interesting creatures, political moves, and just a short little novella, I would encourage you to pick it up. It's a good time. Then the second ebook that I read this month was Suddenly Second. This is by Elizabeth Hunter. This story follows a woman who's in her mid to late 40s. Her family is changing because she has one child already in college and the other child about to be in college. She is questioning her life decisions, who she is, where she's going, all of those big things that happen when your, teenage kids moves out. She is trying to figure out if she has lost herself in all of the past years of being a mother and a wife and all of that stuff. It's basically a story about this turning point in her life, but add to it, they got into a car accident to where their car flew into the lake, sunk to the bottom, and they survived, but they didn't survive. When I mean her and her two friends. They all survived, but they didn't survive coming out the same. They suddenly have these new psychic powers. So not only is she trying to figure out what her life is and was and looks like at this turning point of her life, she also has gained this new psychic ability, which comes with, figuring all that stuff out. So to me, it was really relatable because I am closer to that age. It was a little humorous seeing how these three women figure out these new psychic ability. The friendship of the three women, you could really feel and tell that they've been friends forever and they know each other, and it reminds me of some of my friendships that I have now. I just really liked this book. I really love Elizabeth Hunter. If you've been here on the channel, you already know that. If that sounds appealing to you, I would highly recommend you pick it up. On to the physical books that I've read. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I think I read most of this in August, but I finished it in September, so I'm putting in this wrap up. This book I enjoyed. It took a while to get used to his writing style because it's extremely detailed and a little different than what I'm used to. I'm used to reading paranormal romance, YA fantasy, but I'm not used to, I read other stuff too, but I can't remember. But I'm not used to like adult epic fantasy fiction, which this is. So it took me a minute to get into, but I really did enjoy this book. The thing that I probably enjoyed most, or what I took out as a little different than your typical things that you enjoy about fantasy, like I enjoyed all the typical things. Like I enjoyed the world, the creatures, I can't say the magic system because it's not really explained in this one, and the action adventure story. Like I enjoyed all that, but then you read these stories to enjoy all that. But the thing that's different was the insecure teenager that was written into this book, which kind of surprised me that was something that was brought into. I also enjoyed the friendships that these people have. You could totally tell that they've been friends forever. I enjoyed the friendship that was, I wouldn't say it was built. The friendship that was shown between Egwene and Perrin, that friendship when they were together or when they're off on their own little adventure was really sweet, and I really enjoyed reading that storyline by itself. Then I read and finished The Great Hunt, which is the second book in the series of The Wheel of Time and the second book to The Eye of the World. I enjoyed this book better than I enjoyed The Eye of the World. I enjoyed the Aes Sedai. I enjoyed their world, their culture, the different colors, what they mean, what personalities they have. I enjoyed learning about the Aes Sedai and how they operate. The action, and again, the action adventure in this story is good, but I think everybody reads these kind of stories for those, so I don't really want to talk about that. But I felt like the stakes were raised a lot more in The Great Hunt. It felt more intense to me. I felt like I wanted to consume it faster than I did The Eye of the World. And I felt really immersed in this story more than I did The Eye of the World. And then, since I've already read The Eye of the World, the writing style was a lot more familiar to me, a lot easier for me to get into, a lot easier for me to get immersed in. So if that's something that's stopping you, I would encourage you to get through like the first book and try the second book, because I felt the second book was a lot easier to get yourself immersed in than the first book was. Really enjoyed this one. Then I read, this is not in the order that I read, this is honestly just in the order of how the books fit nicely in a stack. I read Scythe. I enjoyed Scythe, but not as much as I thought I was going to. This follows two teenagers that live in a futuristic world where death is not something that comes. They have figured out a way to cure sickness. They've figured out a way to cure people who, accidentally die from jumping off a bridge or purposely die from jumping off a bridge or whatever. And so people live forever and ever. People don't die from old age either, because they've also figured out a way to turn back the clock of time and then restart their life at like 25 or something. They need population control, so they have these people that take on this job called Scythes. So Scythes kill people for population control. Now, one of the Scythes in the area recruited these two teenagers to become Scythes. This is their story going through an apprentice under the Scythe to become a Scythe. I thought this book would be a tad bit more brutal or a tad bit more dark than it was. It was dark and it was brutal, but I just wanted a tiny bit more. There was twists in this book that surprised me. There was twists in this book that I enjoyed. There was nothing about this book that I didn't enjoy. I just wanted a little bit more darkness and a little bit more brutality. Just a little bit. And that would be my only complaints. I finished early in this month The Hero of Ages. I did a whole video on the whole series of this. If you want to know my thoughts, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time today. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of this book, and I am satisfied with the ending. And so that's where I'm going to end that discussion with this book there. If you want to see more thoughts, I will put the video in the cards. And then I reread The Outsiders. I love this book. And in one of my videos, I said, stay cool, soda pop, when it's really be gold, pony boy. But I do say stay cool, soda pop, just because I don't know, I enjoyed saying it. And now I'm going to add be gold, pony boy, because I have skewed that saying in my brain. I actually just want to go and watch the movie now because it has one of my favorite heartthrob as a very young girl. Like, I didn't like him as a teen. I liked him as like a young girl. If you want to step back into like the 1950s and have a short story to read about, I strongly encourage you to pick up this book. The language in this book is just so adorable. Okay, so The Outsiders. Quick synopsis. This book follows our main character, Pony Boy. He is, I think, 13 or 14. He is from the wrong side of town to where it is poor, and they consider his crew, gang, group of friends, greasers, and then they have like a war against the Soch or Sox, Soch, whatever you want to call them. And the Soch, the Sox are Sox. They are the rich kids. They war back and forth, and they rumble, fight. It is just Pony Boy's story of this small period in time in learning about himself, his friends, his family, the Soches. I think they're Sox, because if it'd be Soch, it'd be Soces, wouldn't it? Sox, Soch. I don't know. And then how he views the kids on the other side and all of that stuff. It is a good, sweet story, but it also has some feels in them. It's not all sweet. And then last but not least, A Song of Race and I cannot say that word. A Song of Race and Ruin. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the culture. I enjoyed the magic system. I enjoyed the main characters. They didn't read like typical YA main characters. They were a little different. It's not a good way to describe that, but yeah. But so they were a little different, and I enjoyed that. It was a little darker than I originally thought it was going to be. This is a enemies to lovers romance. Follow our two main characters, Malik. He is a boy from a distant land, and his people are greatly looked down upon. He is trying to get into a main city that has a lot of work, and he is traveling with his two sisters, one older, one younger, and his younger sister gets kidnapped in the process of him traveling from his land to this major city in order to find work, make money, and bring the rest of his family out of the situation that they're in. Our other main character, Karina, she is the princess, and her father and older sister, who was supposed to be queen, died several years ago tragically. Now she has to step up to learn how to be queen when her mother is ready to pass on the throne. Her mother is tragically assassinated, so she finds this resurrection spell to bring her mother back because she is not ready to be queen. She also doesn't want to be queen and is kind of rebelling against the entire idea of being queen and in charge of the people or even living in the city. She is a really interesting character to read from. I found her extremely fascinating. That is all the books that I read this month. Let me know what you think. Did you read any of these books? Did you have the same opinion as me? If you want to check out like more in depth of my opinions, check out my weekly reading vlogs. I will link all of my weekly reading vlogs down below so you can check those out if you want to. I am uploading this video Wednesday. I will be filming my next video next for my October TBR, so look for that Friday. Again, like always, comment, subscribe, like below. Let me know what you read in September, what you liked in September, any recommendations that you have for me based on the books that I read, what I liked, whatever. Let me know. Let's discuss. Oh yeah, if you want to continue the chats or chat with me on a regular basis, join my Discord. I have the link below. We do some fun things there. I do buddy reads. I was trying to schedule it monthly, but it doesn't get scheduled monthly. Just whenever we're done with a book, we start another book. So we do buddy reads there. As of right now, me and a friend are buddy reading The Way of Kings. Go ahead and join the Discord. Bye! That book follows a... Do they have to like rev their engines and do this right when I'm filming? Like, it is morning time on a freaking Sunday. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it's annoying. Sorry, done. First world problems. And, okay, can I talk car talk real quick? Doing that right there, just revving your engine, there's seriously no point. All you're doing is wasting gas. Literally all you're doing is wasting gas. Oh, it stopped. There's no diagnosis test. There's none. There's literally no diagnosis test that you need to rev your freaking engine for over and over on a freaking Sunday morning. There's none. That is just obnoxious. Okay, so seriously, now that the car is done, we got the dogs barking.